Welcome, everybody, to the Campaign Reporting and Awards Training segment. We are so glad you could join us. To get us started, if everybody could drop into the chat their agency, city, state, or if you know your zone name, that would be ideal. But your agency, where you're joining us from, and whether or not this is your first time serving as a volunteer for CFC, or maybe it's your 7th year or 10th year, and you could probably give this training yourself. Let us know where you're joining from, as well as how many years of experience you have volunteering for CFC. We would appreciate that. Thank you so much. I am Jen Howard. I am the Vice President and Chief Operating Officer for MPMA. MPMA is one of 2 federal contractors that has the responsibility to bring marketing, training, outreach coordinator services to combined federal campaign zones across the country. There are 35 CFC zones across the country, and MPMA is responsible for 21 of those zones. How we conduct our training is by topic, and so you've probably attended our management or our marketing session already. This is, again, our campaign reporting and awards session. When we do these by topic, we do this intentionally so that we give you one topic at a time, so you can receive it, digest it, build it into your plan, and make a plan, work a plan. We used to give you all of the topics at once, and it was pretty much a fire hose effect and a bit overwhelming, a lot of information, hard to retain and effectively implement. And so we've backed into it by topic as a team. So that said, I appreciate everybody dropping your information into the chat. Being that we operate 21 zones, you're going to notice that we invite everybody from all 21 zones to be here today. And that's a service to you guys in that if you see other coordinators or volunteers from your agency, but different parts of the country, or maybe you see volunteers that are also first-time volunteers like you, build relationships, get to know each other. And again, especially within the same agency, because what you're going to find is that you're going to want to do something with your campaign, whether it be an event or an award or something in your plan that maybe you're not sure that you can do, or you want to learn how it has been done successfully somewhere else. And there's nobody better than somebody within your own agency that's already doing it at their office, their location to defer to. As federal contractors, we have our own set of regulations that we have to adhere to, CFC regulations, CFR 950. And we respect that every agency also has their own set of regulations. And so while we're going to give you a lot of information, and we have in our management, marketing, events, and reporting and awards, we're going to give you a lot of information. We also appreciate that not everything works the same for everybody. What works for one agency may not work for another. So if you hear something that you're like, we can't do that, we understand, but some agencies can do it. So just take what you can, think about your agency, what may or may not work. And again, ask lots of questions, please, engage and get to know each other. This is a formal but informal training. CFC is supposed to be fun. And frankly, if it's not fun, I'm not interested. So thank you again for being here today. And with me today are several members of my team, Anna, hi, Antonia, as well as Noemi, and I see Ron from Ohio. Hi, Ron. I'm sure there's probably a few more.
Bruce just joined the chat as well.
Hi, Bruce. Thanks for joining. I'm Jen Howard, like I said, and I'm actually located in Fort Worth, Texas, which is, I think, allergy capital of the world. So I do apologize if it sounds like I have allergies. I do have allergies constantly. So, all right, let's dive into reporting, CFC reporting. All right, campaign reporting. So reporting is very important, right? You want to have a baseline, a measurement of how you're doing. The first thing I would say as coordinators to do is to first stop and ask yourself, how much did you raise last year? How many of you guys don't know what you raised last year? If you don't know what you raised last year, you can thumbs up or put it into the chat, raise your hand. If you don't know what you raised last year, please go ahead and drop into the chat. You need to know your results. If you want to drop in your email and city state, the chat is saved. That will help us to make sure that we get your results to you from last year. One of the first things that you want to make sure you know is who your account manager is on our team. For example, Ron Kaplan, who is with us here, is in Ohio, and he works with the Ohio CFC, several of the accounts, right, Pat, and a few others across that zone to support them as an account manager. And so if Ron was your account manager, you would go to him to get your results and work your plan, and he'd be supporting you this fall. There is somebody from my team that is here to support you. So if you don't know who your account manager is, please let us know in the chat as well, so that we can get you that information. This slide shows you who our area directors are, which is not your account manager per se, but they can point you in the right direction as well. But just drop into the chat if you're not sure who your account manager is, and the team here will give you the correct email address for your account manager, and we will make sure that they get connected to you, because they will give you your results from last year so that you have a baseline of reporting to go off of. So reporting is so important, again, just to know how you're doing, and it builds enthusiasm, healthy competition, et cetera, across your office. So when it comes to campaign reporting, we've talked about our DAO codes, the department agency office codes. That is what the donor does when they create their profile online to give. They establish their department agency office in their profile, and that allows the system to know who they work for so that they can properly deduct that contribution and pay the charity, right? That department agency structure is critical to get that right. And then that office structure helps us to report out. Knowing how much you raised last year will help you to set a goal for this year. Know how many employees you're responsible for. If you have 200 employees and your account manager tells you tomorrow that of those 200 employees, 3 of them gave, you might say, well, geez, I think we can do better than that. I'm going to aim for 200 employees. Maybe you want to aim to have 20 people participate, a 10% participation goal. You cannot establish a 100% participation goal, guys. That is considered coercive. You can and you should have a 100% contact goal, and that you are ensuring that everybody at your office has been invited to use CFC as their pathway for giving. That you can do by regulation. So knowing how much you raised, how many people participated, those are the metrics that you can use to set a goal. And so again, connect with your account manager to determine that. That department agency office structure is very important to know in the system. It's seen in multiple places. It's seen online, and it's also seen on the pledge card, on the how to give card. Both of these documents, the pledge card and the how to give card that are available online at givecfc.org, are fillable. So you can download them and you can pre-populate them with your DAO information, making it very easy for your donors to simply, let's say from your intranet, you've downloaded this card, you've pre-popped. Thank you, Antonia, for doing this as we go. She's going to type in, I don't know, Department of Transportation, FAA, code 12345, right? As you can see, it's fillable. So if she was a coordinator, she's going to pre-populate that standard information for all of her donors. And then she's going to save it to her intranet site, or maybe she's going to email it out and say, hey, here's a pledge card. If you prefer to use paper, because some people do, here's the pre-populated paper card for your convenience to, print out, complete, give it back to me as the coordinator, or fold up and mail in directly yourself to the CCA for processing. Makes it very easy on the donor to not have to think about what do they need to complete in those fields. Thanks, Antonia. So make sure that you've obtain those fillable assets, those printable assets or digital assets, and that you've pre-populated them. Also, in addition to the pledge card and the how to give card, again, this is a screenshot. I love that it's my information. That's really funny. It's my own page. This is my profile on the giving system as a contractor, guys. Pro tip, federal contractors can give through CFC. I give. So in my profile, you can see that I've, in this case, selected Department of Justice, U.S. Marshals Service, and it looks like I'm choosing Western District of Texas. My profile changes a lot just as demonstration purposes. So you do have to, when you create your account, you are required to populate your DAO information. And when you re-log in each year, you have to review it and either confirm that it's still accurate or update it. And it's really important that you do review it and update it if need be. One, federal employees are pretty transient and they will change department agencies from time to time. Or department agencies, offices, you guys know this word, they are known to go through reorgs. And so if your agency has changed in any fashion, you're going to want to consider that and possibly update your profile to reflect the new reorg that your organization has just recently gone through. And in most cases, coordinators, your DAO structure is probably a few codes deep. And what I mean by that is your lines of businesses, your directorates, your units, your offices, they are all separate. So you're going to have different codes for each one. And you want to make sure that you know what those codes are for your employees that you're responsible for. And how do you know what your DAO structure is? Account manager, that person that we were talking about, knowing who your account manager is, they have your DAO structure and they can give that to you. So make sure you have contacted them, got your results from 2023 from them, and your DAO structure from them so that you can review that and just know what it is so that you can inform your employees as needed what their DAO code is. So starting next week, we are going to be issuing weekly results. We don't typically send these in September because it's fiscal year end and there's just not a lot of traction in September. So while the site did open September 1, and there is a couple $1 million on deck across the country, awesomely enough, we don't start sending reports out until October. And so you will start getting weekly emails, result emails from us. If you don't see a weekly results email next week, please contact your account manager and say, hey, I didn't get a results email. Can you tell me why? And so they can see what's going on. If there was a disconnect, something in the system that didn't trigger, maybe we typed your email in incorrectly, etc. So please make sure that you see that. And if you don't see it, that you follow up with us. And in fact, we have already started sending communications to you to include weekly messages that you can share with your employees. Cause messages, how to give messages, these type of messages that you can disseminate. If you haven't already received these messages, please put it in the chat now. In fact, on Monday, we sent out our monthly look ahead message for October. And if you didn't get that on Monday, please put it in the chat now with your email. Hey, I'm not getting weekly messages or the monthly newsletter. So we can follow up on that and make sure that our communications are getting to you. But starting next week, you'll also receive your results. And when you get those, you're going to want to review them, make sure they're accurate, and report out. Report out, track your progress, report out on your results, both to leadership and to your organization. You want to let your team know how you're doing. We've got this awesome barometer that you can populate digitally, or you can print out and hang by the elevator shafts if you are a organization that has an in-person posture at your office. By all means, put this up by your elevator or in your common area space. You can post it on your intranet. There's a digital version if you have digital boards. Think about how your employees are being communicated with and put this there but remember to keep it updated. You know, don't throw it up and not update it. You want to keep updating that barometer, showing your progress.
And just like Jennifer said as well on those other items that we talked about the being fillable, that poster as well is a fillable PDF form as well. So under your posters and flyers, right down here, you have the barometer posters, general DoD. But again, that's a fillable PDF. So you can track that and shoot that out via email blast as well.
Absolutely. If you want to grab that link right there from that page and just drop it into the chat.
Yep.
For the campaign material page. That way you guys can all save the link and have a quick access point back to this page to save that information. Thanks, Antonia. Good point. So on that barometer too, one of the pro tip thing that was listed there, we're almost there, is when you get that weekly results email that takes you to your goal and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, we had this goal of $10,000 and we're at 10,000 and, you know, $28. This is so exciting. We've met our goal. Don't tell them that. Don't tell them you've already met it. Tell them you're almost there. Because here's the thing, guys. Everyone wants to be the person that carries the baton or the torch across the finish line, right? In the relay, everybody wants to be the person that comes across last and gets everybody to the goal. And so it's a great opportunity when you're, you know, even if you are actually nearing goal, or maybe you just happen to go right past it, let them know, hey, we're almost there. Make sure you issue that we're almost to goal message. Help us, you know, make our goal today. Here's the link. Let's get our Give Happy on and give back to the causes we care about message out, because it will inspire a lot of people to be a part of the movement because they want to get you across that line and reach goal together. So all right. So before we talk about awards, are there any questions about reporting, about results, about goal setting, about the materials we just showed you or the site that anybody has, or anything in the chat team that has come up?
Anna, Noemi, are there any questions that you guys have answered that we need to address verbally?
There's no questions of people putting in their email address to follow up for the weekly.
Okay.
Oh, Krista Flott just asked, do we set our goals for amount?
Yeah. So once you talk to your account manager, Crystal, and they say, oh, last year, you know, again, you know, understand how many people gave and what the total amount was and how many people you're responsible for. You know, those are the metrics you want to know. Again, if you have 200 people and only 2 people gave, then you're like, gosh, we've got a lot of room for potential. If you raised $1,800 and you know that there's a lot of potential with the number of donors, number of people participating, you might set a goal of 2,000, just a slightly above that 1,800, or you might say, I'm going for 5,000. So absolutely, you can set a dollar goal. The one goal that you cannot set by regulation is 100% participation, because that is considered coercive. That's saying that everybody must participate, right, to reach the goal. And so you can't set that goal. Now, any goal that you set, whether it's monetary or participation wise, you do need to get that approved by your leadership and your ethics, because again, your agencies have your own rules and regulations that you want to make sure you're following. So I'm speaking to CFC regulations, not to your agencies. And I think I see a hand up. And obviously, I know you're not Bruce Jacobs, because Bruce Jacobs works with me. So hi, who do we have the pleasure of speaking with today?
Hi, I'm Teresa Desert, and the power was down at the Reno VA, so Bruce sent me his link. So,
Thank you, Bruce.
So I have a couple questions. One just real quick. What do you mean by DAO structure? Is that the same as our code that they enter when they're, is that what you mean?
So the DAO structure is your department agency office structure. This is what drives reporting. And so whenever somebody goes to the site, I'm not sure if you've been to the site yet to set up your profile. I would strongly encourage you, if you haven't yet, to do that before you start your campaign, because you want to know how this process works for your employees. When you go to the site, givecfc.org, and you click donate, the first thing you have to do when you create your account is set up your department, agency, office structure in the system. And
So
so
I do that as the coordinator, or you mean like each person who
each
donates puts
person,
in?
every
Okay, so
person
that's
has
the
their own
code
account.
that they put in. Right.
Yep. They'll put
Okay.
in Department of Veterans Affairs. And Teresa, yours is unique in that it's going to be Department of Veterans Affairs, Department of Veterans Affairs for department and agency.
Yeah.
Kind of silly. And then the
Okay.
office will be, VA Medical Center, Reno, or what have you, whatever the structure is for your local area.
So when individuals, maybe they do the QR code and go to the site and they are wanting to donate, like how do you give out that information to everyone so they understand when they're doing it what they need to enter, or do they just need the code?
So there's a
Uh,
couple different ways that you can do this. It depends on how you're promoting and publicizing your campaign, if it's through your intranet or if it's through an email, at an event, etc. So we've got the donor card where we can populate information with that DAO. But in a situation like yours where you probably have several lines of a DAO structure, 6, 7 different codes, depending on what part of the VA they're working under, then you're probably going to want to have that list populated and saved somewhere that you provide them that, hey, this is our structure. If you work for, the cemetery, it's this. If you work for the VISN, it's this. If you work for, I'm just trying to think of VA terminology right now, right? Like these are our codes in our area. And so you might have that saved on your intranet. You might have the sheet handy at your event so that they can write it down. You might email it out by group. If you know that you are communicating specifically with one line of business or one directorate or one unit, then you can isolate creating that pledge card like Antonia did, or that donor card, populating it specific to that group with their structure. And so if you are communicating specifically with a group and you know that this is their code, you could pre-populate it. But if you're going agency-wide, then you might
Yeah,
want to
no, I think we just have one code here and we're just a small little, we're not that big of a VA.
pay for you.
Everyone will use the same code. Basically how we're gonna have a couple of events and we can answer questions there, but we're gonna have weekly emails that go out in the weekly director's message with a lot of these produced emails and stuff,
Mhm.
that letters. Is that where the information should go up? I feel like that's the block of like when you actually go to the site to fill things out, other than just a code. Do I have to be giving people all this information that they need to sign up? They feel like even when I went to text to donate, I tried that out when I took a class earlier this morning. And then it says choose a charity. It's like, well, what are the choices? Like, where's the list? Like, it gets a little overwhelming there because I don't know who to pick. And it
Mhm.
asks for like their address or their name, their this. I'm like, how do you get that information?
Yeah. Well, I definitely don't want to go down the text to donate hole right now with this question. Let's stay on the DAO,
Yeah, okay.
disseminating that information. What's highlighted on the screen is a user guide. I'm not a big fan of this document because it's so overwhelming, frankly, Teresa, in my opinion. If you're trying to communicate easily to your employees, your colleagues, how to give online, I would provide them maybe a link and then go back, Antonia, to that profile page of mine that you showed in the deck. And maybe you do this. Maybe you just provide this as an image and say, go to this link. When setting up your account, our CFC code is 12345. You'll create your account. That look up, that field over there to the right where you enter the code. You can tell them, enter your RCFC. I always like to use the exact language because that helps people when they see the exact language. Enter our
Enter your 6-digit CFC office code
into the field, hit look up, and it will pre-populate our DAO correctly for Reno's VAMC or whatever the office says. And you your profile will be set. You know, happy pledging. And
Okay,
that-
so if they put in our code, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, enter, where it says enter your 6-digit, the
Yep.
other things will just automatically populate the department, agency, and office.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so they don't really need that information then. All they need is the code.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
Absolutely. And it sounds like, I love that, Jennifer. I'm not sure where you're coming in from or if you can put anything in the chat or share it, but yeah, making your own step-by-step guide. I think that user guide that they provide on the website is like, I don't know, a 65-page document. Nobody's reading that.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
lot. It is
It's
a
a
lot.
lot. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I'm sure whatever Jennifer created for her office is much more user-friendly and straight to the point. Feel free to share that, Jennifer, whether it's here in the chat or you can send it to your account manager and we can even disseminate it as well. It's always great when we don't have to recreate the wheel and we can use each other's nifty tools that are out there. So, but hopefully that's helpful, Teresa. Did you have any other questions?
Yeah, I do actually have one other. So when I find out who my campaign manager is and I reach out to them, is there some sort of site that I need to go to and set up something where I can go and see my progress? Or is
They're
it
going to
something?
email you. Yeah, results are emailed to you. And so I'm pretty sure, I think Bruce is your person. Bruce, correct me if I'm wrong. You can tell Teresa if I'm wrong.
And Anna
Well, I
is,
know he's the area
he's the
director,
area
but I thought you
director.
said they're different.
They
the-
could be. Some of the area directors also manage the specific zone as well. Anna,
Okay.
does Bruce manage Reno, Nevada, or is that someone else? Oh, maybe Anna can't hear us. I don't think Bruce is on this meeting, Jennifer.
Yes, Bruce is.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Okay. All right, so I think
Mhm.
I'll just reach out. I mean, I have a ton of questions, but I'll just reach out to Bruce and find out the answer.
Yeah, Bruce will definitely point you in the right direction and he will be sending you weekly results.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Do we
Any
have any other
more-
questions?
Yeah, any more questions on reporting or results? Was there anything else in the chat that we missed, team?
No, like I said, earlier, it was just people not having received their monthly newsletters, so we're just getting that data.
Perfect. Thank you for taking care of them. All right, so let's talk about awards for CFC. So we take this very seriously, awards. We love to, recognize, again, if it's not fun, we're not interested in what we're doing. CFC should be fun. I like to think of the F in the middle of the CFC as being the fun that we put into the workplace when we get to have our CFC in-house. So holding events, charity affairs, have a kickoff, have a mid-campaign event, have a closeout, have leadership involved, make it fun. Think about your agency and how you can do that and how you can qualify. The website has a lot of tools for awards where you can recognize your key workers. And in fact, I don't know if everybody here knows this or not from other trainings I know that I've given. When you go to the training tab there, go ahead and click training, Antonia. And if you don't mind that, provide quick feedback, click on that one, please. After today's training, if you don't mind dropping that link into the chat for me, if you guys don't mind providing feedback on our training today, that would be wonderful. We would definitely appreciate some positive scores, hopefully, positive feedback. But when you get through this training feedback thing here, at the end of this and you submit it, it populates a certificate, an award certificate for you as the person that received the training that's signed by the director of OPM, CFC, Keith Willingham. It's pretty nice that you can print out and put in your file that you've been officially trained. So feel free to go through and receive that certificate. But also there are also certificates for our key workers and others. Thank you, Antonia, for going to find those.
I thought they were in here, but I will find them.
Awards, maybe, are they under the awards tab? You can search around. So campaign worker awards, there we go. Is this where they're at or no? This
Those
is
are our
Alaska.
individual. Yeah, and then that's our winners from last year.
Last year's. So There are, and Antonio can continue to look over the site. There are also certificates that you can use to print out key worker awards and coordinator certificate awards already pre-populated, ready to go, so that you can recognize those on your team that are supporting your campaign this fall. So it's really important that we utilize those and that we acknowledge and recognize those on our team. Many of you guys have large offices and key workers that you are working with, and we want to make sure that we acknowledge the hard work of those that are coming alongside of us, making this campaign possible. So we will find those award
I'm not
certificates.
seeing them online, but we do have them and we can email those out to our team, but I'll follow up with national marketing on the website itself, being
And
able to
find
download.
those. Okay, thank you, Antonia. The website has so much stuff on it that sometimes it gets buried. I found that yesterday to be frustrating, actually, during one of the trainings. So another way that another award category, I guess you could say, is federal agencies. And we do awards by the size of federal agencies, because obviously a small federal agency can't compete with a large federal agency, right? So we back into small agencies as having, that should probably say 1 to 49 employees. I don't think you'd have an agency
I
with
know, 0.
yeah. And then 50 to 199 is considered a medium, and 200 plus is considered a large. This criteria is set by the federal executive boards, not by me. Those numbers of determining small, medium, large agencies. So we do have awards that we give by size, and those are over the top and all for one. We recognize every agency by size. We have an awards committee that may also award additional awards at their discretion. So we do have also automatic agency awards that people get, the over the top. Basically, this is going back to your results. When you know how much you raised last year and you set goals, this is where this comes into play, right? So if you raise more than the previous year, you are eligible to get awards. And if you raise more than 25%, it's a bronze award, 26 to 50, silver, 50 or more, gold. And you might think, gosh, that seems like a very large amount to have to overcome. The truth is, you guys, approximately 4% of federal employees are participating in your campaign. Rarely do we see where one of your offices has 10% or more participation. It's just a fact. So the potential for each of you is there to raise 25, 50% or more. I promise you, when you look at the numbers at your results, you're going to go, oh my gosh, I can't believe out of this many employees, only this many gave. We can do so much better. Hear that over and over and over and over again. And so that's, your guys' challenge and opportunity that you have is to, make that plan and work that plan. What's it look like for you to get more people involved, participating in your campaign? Because the truth is if you only have 4% participation and you achieved 10, 15, 20% participation, naturally the amount you raised is going to be greater, right? That's just fundamentally what's going to happen. So focusing on your participation and getting more people to participate will naturally drive your results up, and you will easily achieve those automatic awards. Yes.
You're-
do you have a
That's all.
question?
You discussed that one. Okay, great. We have a
Yep.
question, Naomi?
Yes, we had a participation award. Christoph Long asked, does the employee number include federal contractors? And
No, we do not include federal contractors and FTEs. FTE is just full-time federal employees.
okay, because what I responded in the chat, which is why I wanted to go ahead and bring it to your attention, was that we just go by the number they give us in the account demographic form.
Yeah.
Whatever number they say their employees are, that's the number we do our math in.
Right, for sure. And we don't collect contractor numbers. We only collect FTE full-time employees, which are federal employees. So we don't collect contractors, and we don't collect retiree numbers by agencies either. It's just your full-time employees. In fact, you're not even supposed to solicit contractors, but if they're around and they want to participate, they can. So that's how the contractor dynamic works. All right, individual awards. Individual awards do require a nomination form. The superhero, it's one per size category again. So that small, medium, large size category is what we're backing into. And these are coordinators, volunteers that went above and beyond. Maybe there were challenges at your organization that you were unforeseen. Units left or came back mid-campaign that you had to then go back and canvas that you weren't expecting. A ship came to port. Maybe you created a volunteer project because you can now volunteer even as a group. Did something new, innovated. Again, think about your agency. Think about what you want to do to bring fun to the campaign, what you want to do differently, and get creative around this. Have fun. And also lean into other things that are going on. We saw where the Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center on Mondays had food trucks that would come to the center for the employees. And so where their food trucks were coming every Monday, we said, hey, go have a CFC event there because everyone's going to be there, right? On Mondays. So have your events there. And that was very successful. So, engage with and piggyback on things that are already happening at your agency or things that people are already enjoying or that that they like to do. That's obviously, there's strength in numbers, right? When we come together and participate in other things that are already happening. So, and then, oops, sorry.
Yep, that's it.
Perfect. Thank you. But making contact, marketing, reporting back out, those are all things that are very critical to just kind of that baseline approach of how you operate, establish your campaign, and then going above and beyond to be nominated for different awards. And on the website, Antonia, if you want to go to the website, let's show them where the website has the nominations drawn up. Thanks. So last year, I think it goes back to 2022, you can actually come here and look at previous Hero and Innovation Awards, the nominees and what they did. So if you're curious, like what are other people doing, you could easily scan down this. You could, there's a VA person, right? Teresa, like, oh, what did the VA do, in Palo Pinto or wherever that is. And so, take a look at this link as well, this site, the heroes that have been nominated, the innovation awards that have been issued, et cetera, and look at what other people are doing out there. This will give you ideas for your own campaign on what you might want to do as well. And I see we have a D'Angela Davis, your hand is up. Go for it.
Never mind. I seen when Antonio got out of it. I was trying to see where to find this information.
Yeah,
But-
this is in the about and then OPM, and it keeps going away from me, the OPM CFC awards. And once you go into that page, then you have by year for the hero winners and nominees, so 23, 22, and 21. And then if you wanted to look at the innovation winners and nominees, that's listed here. And then this one here is the first time we've done the leadership award winner, and that was just from last year. And
We
so
do it. No, we do it every year.
we do it every year. I guess maybe it was the first year in a while that we've had one from our zones.
No,
that was-
I don't know why. It's just the first year they published it online.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and that's Larry's award. They've been doing that every year for
Okay.
decades now. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to drop that link in there, the hero awards are individuals, and then the innovation award is a campaign or an agency that we nominate. And hey guys, our zones, we are allowed to submit 3 heroes and 1 innovation award for every zone to OPM in DC. These are national awards that are given out each year. And my team knows I take this very seriously. Everybody on my team, every single zone, 21 zones we manage, will have 3 heroes nominated and an innovator award sent in. So y'all are up for these awards. I promise you, we're watching. In fact, I know Colton's not on here, but Colton's one of our newer members of our team. And I printed out the nomination package for him and gave it to him so he could read it. He's like, he asked me today, he goes, I have so many great coordinators. I want to thank them already. They're so wonderful. They're already doing great things. How do we thank them? What do we do for them? Which I just think is so wonderful that people on my team are recognizing the great work you guys are doing. And I said, well, a couple things, keep track of it. We will figure out how to thank them and recognize them on the other side of this campaign. And national awards, those local awards that we do locally, and these national ones, keep track of what they're doing, and specifically the data, the metrics, like how are they moving the needle, or how are they increasing their participation at their office or raising more money. You can see how there's a lot of data in here, and that's what they're looking for is, they raised this one at the top, the Laredo Office Field Operations Port, they raised 42.5% more than the previous year with a crazy goal of 100,000, right? Wow, that's such a, just incredible goal and achievement. 9.9% increase, again, raising 38,000. So they're looking for metrics, guys. So again, you want to know how much you raised last year. You want to set some goals for yourself, and then you want to strive to achieve them. And my team, they're the experts. They will help you, determine what are some of the ways that you can achieve these. And sometimes it's as simple as starting with your basic staff meetings. So many employees have not heard of the CFC. We have an influx of federal employees, you guys that were hired since the pandemic, that have never heard of the CFC. We have so many federal employees that actually have never even been in an office. They've been 100% remote since they started with the government. If that's you, I want to see a thumbs up. If any of you guys are remote workers and have always been a remote worker for the government, feel free to throw a thumbs up out there. These people exist out there. And so how do you reach them? Chances are they're coming to a staff meeting, an all staff meeting. Think about where your people are coming together and get CFC on the table, even for 5 minutes to present it to your employees as a touch point. And if you need help with that, we can help you with that. Somebody from my team can make the pitch with you, or you can go to the campaign workers slide. There's a briefing deck that we talk about in the management training series, where CFC briefing that you can utilize yourself if you don't want to use somebody from our team, or if it's just on the fly and you don't have time to request us. Perfect. Thank you, Antonia. This CFC briefing deck will download, and you can use this right here to brief out to your staff what is the CFC, how it works, and why you should use it as your pathway for giving. It's pretty straightforward. Anybody can speak to it. And the presentation and the notes has all your talking points. So good news is we've done all the heavy lifting for you. We've just got to show you where it's at and how to use it so that you can be successful with it. So any questions on, yeah, thanks, Antonia. Do we have more? Perfect. Social media. This is another way that we report out. We do some reporting. We congratulate key workers, coordinators, agencies for hitting results, achievement, more than 50% to their goal, etc. So stay connected with us on social media. If you're not already following your local zone's Facebook page, please do so. And then we do have a YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn one page for everybody in those categories, the YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. But every zone does have its own Facebook page. And if you want to know what your Facebook page link is, feel free to put it in the chat, and somebody can drop that link in for you to make it easy on you. But this is these are the area directors, again, that is provided in the slide deck, and you will receive a copy of this if you would like it. These are the area directors that oversee and provide guidance to the zones listed below them. Again, we have account managers for these zones, specific to these zones, to help you, standing by, ready and eager to help you succeed this year. Just as I mentioned, you can see Zone 28, Ohio, Ron Kaplan is here with us today to support. So if you're in Ohio, Ron is your guy. He will be helping you this fall. So Any questions, comments, any tips, any ideas that people want to share? Anything that you're doing this year that's different that you want to talk about? Sharing ideas with your colleagues here today? Any challenges you're facing? It's too close to the end of the day. Everybody needs another cup of coffee, maybe. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. We sincerely appreciate it. Thank you for what you do as federal employees in your daily grind. We know that it takes each and every one of you and so many to run this country. I know a lot of people don't realize what it takes to run such an incredible, the most incredible country in the world. We do, because it's a privilege for us to get to work with every federal agency. And so thank you for what you do to contribute to our country in your daily jobs, and for saying yes, whether you are a voluntold or a volunteer. Thank you for your role as a CFC volunteer, the work that you are about to embark upon as a volunteer for CFC. It will change lives. It will change lives, change communities, and leave them for the better. So thank you for that. You guys are the epitome of public servants, and we are so grateful to support you this fall. So if you need anything, you know where to find us. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
You too.